Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell to have virtual engagement with the Diaspora on Saturday. We'll have details of this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back. With the details of the news for Friday, October 8th, 2021, I am Sherry Ann Noel. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell will have a virtual engagement with Grenadians in the diaspora on Saturday, October 9th, 2021. Grenadians will be able to interface directly with the Prime Minister using Zoom. Several stations and online platforms in the United States, the United Kingdom and Canada are also collaborating with government to make the live stream available to Grenadians. The meeting, which begins at 3 p.m., will be broadcast live via 94.9 FM, Crossroad Family Radio, 105.5 FM, New York Radio 99.3 FM, and J Wonder FM in New York, Unique Radio 101.2 FM, and www.colorful.com in the United Kingdom, and in Canada on Caribbean Vibrations. On Facebook, the live stream will be available on GIS, Mikey Live, Sister Isle Radio, Ride Along Live, and Diaspora Matters, as well as the respective pages of Grenada's embassies and consular offices. Saturday's meeting will include an update on the COVID-19 situation in Grenada, which will be provided by the Medical Director at the General Hospital, Dr. Taisha Donnell. This will be followed by an opening statement from the Prime Minister, in which he will address matters of interest to the diaspora. Participants in the Zoom meeting will then have an opportunity to ask questions, make comments, or provide general feedback. Grenadians in Canada will have a further opportunity to hear from the Prime Minister on Sunday, when he will be interviewed by CTV News Channel. The interview will be broadcast live on CTV from 12:05 p.m. Moving along, the Ministry of Health has received another shipment of AstraZeneca vaccines. They will be administered primarily as a second dose to Grenadians. However, accommodation will be made for individuals who are interested in having AstraZeneca as a first dose. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health's vaccination and testing drive continues this weekend. Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Carol McIntosh, told GIS teams of health professionals and volunteers will be stationed at various locations, including at Laura Land at Nature's Way, Bar and Grill, and the St. Paul's Community Center. All pop-up clinics will begin at 10 a.m.
Will be Lime, Ford, Bonaire, St. Mark, Koshu RC School, Victoria Park, Mount Rich, all starting at 10 a.m. We expect people to come back because we've been here before, went out at the first time and provided the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, and now we're returning to provide the second dose. So those who have had your first dose and live in those areas, come back out so that you can get your second dose. And those who saw their neighbors come back, had their vaccination, heard how people are doing well who have been vaccinated, understand that with vaccination doesn't mean that you don't get COVID. It means that there's a decrease in hospitalization and a decreased risk of death if you have the vaccination and you may be exposed to COVID. So it allows for you to have another tool, another weapon to guard against this disease.
Residents on the sister Isle of Carrick were reminded that vaccination and testing services are being done every Tuesday and Thursday at the Hillsborough Smart Health Facility. Since the introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine to Grenada in February 2021, more than 26,000 Grenadians have been fully vaccinated and over 9,000 are partially vaccinated. St. George's University and its alumni continues to work collaboratively with the Government of Grenada in the continuous fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The latest effort saw procurement of 100 oxygen cylinders, which are already in use, providing relief to recovering COVID-19 patients. The collaborative effort between government, SGU, and its network has also secured physician support, medical and pharmaceutical supplies to assist physicians, nurses, and other healthcare personnel working on the ground. Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Carol McIntosh, spoke with the GIS on the importance of public-private sector partnership, as government alone does not have the resources to fight the dreaded virus.
On behalf of the Ministry of Health, I would speak of just to say thank you to St. George's University. They've helped us in our fight against COVID, in our fight against the transmission, in our fight to decrease hospitalization and decrease deaths in a variety of different ways. One, it was just directly with providing to us 100 oxygen cylinders, which we were able to add to our reserve for at the hospital, where we had such increased hospitalization and increased use of oxygen because of the fact that COVID-19, its primary effect on those who are hospitalized is respiratory, and the requirement that they need for high flow oxygen. So that was greatly appreciated in there. But then the other part was the human part, was the human resources. Again, we know that we have always been understaffed. That's the standard. But now when you have been this input where more and more of our own people are affected with COVID and requiring admission, that was one. So we've had a few people that were able to help in coming on board and working with side by side in the hospital. I can note specifically Dr. Solomon, Jennifer Solomon, who would take her time out to go and volunteer on the isolation ward. The camaraderie, the collaboration of Ministry of Health, General Hospital, physicians, doctors, nurses, students, which are both nursing students and medical students, was a breath of fresh air.
More supplies and support, including increased liquid oxygen capacity, cylinders, oxygen concentrators, personal protection equipment, and physician and nursing support will be arriving in the coming days and weeks. Acting under the guidance of the Ministry of Health and following consultation with the religious community, the government of Grenada has approved the reopening of churches and other places of worship. With immediate effect, a maximum of 20 people will be allowed to congregate. That number must include technical persons responsible for facilitating the live broadcast of services. This adjusted regulation will only be allowed in churches and other places of worship where the congregation will be able to observe recommended physical distancing protocol. Religious leaders are encouraged to ensure that the physical distance and mandatory mask-wearing protocols are strictly adhered to guard against the potential spread of COVID-19. The amended regulation, like the other changes announced earlier this week, will remain in effect until October 19, 2021. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Parents, the Ministry of Education has scheduled a series of webinars during the month of October with you in mind, supporting your child with remote learning. These webinars are to help you to better assist your child as remote learning is ongoing for our nation's students. Starting on Sunday, 10th October from 5 p.m. and continuing every Sunday in October, we will be discussing remote learning. Week 1, get to know your device, how to interact with the devices and care for them. Weeks 2 and 3, we discuss remote learning during the COVID-19 pandemic and apps for promoting remote learning. And week 4, Sunday 31st October, the discussion will zero in on psychosocial well-being, balancing e-learning with the rest of your life. The Zoom-based webinars will be broadcast live on GIS Facebook page and Channel 22, beginning Sunday 10th and continuing every Sunday in the month of October from 5 p.m. Support your child with remote learning.
Welcome back. CARICOM Ambassador Ali Gill has donated personal protective equipment to the Guelph Health Center following collaborative efforts with organizations in the United States. Ambassador Gill was able to procure medical supplies to assist health professionals in the fight against COVID-19. Since the start of the pandemic, Grenada has been receiving assistance and donation of supplies from several friendly organizations in the diaspora. These supplies were handed over on Friday to Nurse Lucy Joseph.
Masks, face shields, sanitizers, things for the asthma and so on. Basically to assist you and assist the staff in the fight against COVID. A small token. We know that every small contribution counts in this time, and we will continue to support.
On behalf of the staff of the Guelph Health Center, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you tremendously for such a donation at this time. And as we all know, we are in a crisis situation and these things are greatly in demand by us and everyone else. And as I always say, we appreciate however small it is, and we hope that you will be considerate and give us again thank you. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ambassador Gill assured that more supplies will soon be made available to the health sector. Diaspora involvement in the fight against the spread of COVID-19 in Grenada is key. That statement was made on numerous occasions since the start of the pandemic by Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and Health Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele, among others. To date, a number of Grenadians have come forward in many spheres to offer assistance, one of them being Pastor Carol Augustine Lee, resident of Concord, St. John, who resides in Houston, Texas. Pastor Augustine Lee leads the God is Greater International Ministry. She shared with the GIS the role her ministry is playing in the fight against the virus to keep families safe in Grenada.
We are here on a mission in Grenada, but on coming here we found the situation with COVID as it is, and so realizing that there was no vitamin C and zinc on the island, or nothing that we can give persons when they do get tested, we have now involved ourselves in ensuring that those that are positive can go home with something. So we have here the vitamin C and the zinc that we've brought on the island, and we are distributing them free to every person that has COVID. We are distributing them to those that are affected. We've been going house to house to those that are quarantined, and it's been tedious, but we've been doing that for the couple of weeks before we got connected with the medical team here. So now that we are on board with the medical team, so we go to the clinics and we are there. So once you are positive, you leave with at least you have something that gives you a fighting chance. So we have the vitamin C and the zinc, one a day, individuals can take, and that helps boost the immune system and give them a fighting chance.
Pastor Augustine Lee says the mission has been providing supplements and ministering to those infected and affected by the virus for the past month, and the feedback has been encouraging. At present, there is a team on the ground in Texas, led by her son, working to procure more of what's needed on island, based on a very fruitful engagement with Grenada's Health Minister, Honorable Nicholas Steele.
Direct relief, I have sent in some information to them, and they have been in contact with the Ministry of Health. And we had a meeting on Friday, and we are expecting to have 18 cartons, not cartons, but crates of medical supply coming in this week coming. So we expect that there'll be make a great impact with what is coming in. So basically that's what we've been doing, just trying to be a blessing, trying to change the situation, hopefully curb the situation as it is, less deaths, less infections, and see a turnaround in the situation.
So far, the mission visited clinics in St. George's, Guelph, and Victoria, and have made a number of house calls throughout the country, ministering and providing face masks, Lysol, and other care packages to those affected. And finally, we end the newscast with a reminder from the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Development, Religious Affairs, and information about the upcoming series of webinars, which begins on Sunday, October 10th and continues every Sunday from 5 p.m. Experts in different areas will engage parents in topics focusing on supporting their child during online learning and using the apps provided, among others. The webinar, which will be held via the Zoom platform, will be broadcast live on GIS Channel 22, the GIS YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as the Ministry of Education's Facebook page. Since Zoom can only accommodate 300 participants, parents who are unable to log in via that medium are advised to utilize the aforementioned platforms. And with that story, we come to the end of the National Report for Friday, October 8th, 2021. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sharian Noel, thanking you for viewing.